We often live for life's big moments, you know, when you get married, when the kids get a little older, when you get a little more money or a little more time or something like that. But those big events don't always bring us the happiness.
And Studio 5 relationship coach Matt Townsend says we are missing the boat waiting for them. Are we wasting our time waiting for those big moments?
Yep. They're always right there. They're right in our face every second. Oh, I've had the coolest month. I've had 3 of these moments, and that's how I came up with some of these ideas.
And you normally would have passed over these moments.
Totally. Oh, I did. In fact, I'll even show you. I did pass. I didn't even know that was a moment.
Okay.
Until someone called me back and reminded me.
And said, hey, yo. Yeah. That was your, well, did they say, hey, yo? I don't know.
They didn't say, hey, yo.
My personal addition to your story.
They would never. But it came from a quote. This is all from a quote that President Uchtdorf, Dieter F. Uchtdorf, shared with us, okay? Here's the quote, ready? The happiest people I know are not those who find their golden ticket. They are those who, while in pursuit of worthy goals, discover and treasure the beauty and sweetness of everyday moments. Oh, I have been blowing it. Have you guys ever blown it?
Yeah.
Never.
Because I know you're perfect.
No.
But I blow it. And so here are some rules, okay? First rule to treasure up your most important moments is to be present. Okay? Check this out. Son's getting an doing his Eagle project. I don't want to be there. Okay, I'm tired, and here's the project. He's going to a senior citizen center, senior living center, with a bunch of scouts, and we take down their histories. Okay, and we just ask questions about them and tell us about you and what is it about you and what's the most important thing of your life. So he's got about 8, 10, 12 boys taking these histories, and then he's going to write something up and give it back to all of these people. But the idea is to share history. So we're sitting there, I'm meeting with a woman named Donna. She's telling me a story about how she was born in Murray, grew up in Blackfoot, Idaho. I happen to know another woman in that center that grew up in Blackfoot, Idaho. And in this moment, I was kind of bored, didn't want to do this, just there to help my son. All of a sudden, I caught on fire that thinking, does Donna know that Barbara's from Blackfoot? And I asked her, I go, do you know that Barbara's from Blackfoot? And she goes, who's Barbara? And but they didn't know. Neither of them knew that they were from Blackfoot, Idaho.
Living in the same home.
In the same home. They eat at the same table. They have the exact same meals with each other every single day, and they didn't know. So as soon as I was done, I went to Barbara, and I said, Barbara, you won't believe this. Guess what? She's like, what? Did you know that someone in this house lives in Blackfoot, Idaho, or grew up in Blackfoot? By the way, they're 98 and 94 years old. And Barbara's like, who? And I started to tell her, Donna is from Blackfoot, Idaho. And she got in her wheelchair and sat up and she's like, take me out to Donna, take me out to Donna. And Donna had left. Donna had gone to bed. And I know, when I left that next morning and they got up, I promise you, they were finally present in something that brought them the most joy in their lives. And they hadn't been there for a year and a half. They didn't even know it. So I'm thinking, what are we missing if we're out there not present in our lives? Yeah. Little things. And notice, you know what? It got me so excited. And I got so into that moment because all of a sudden I saw this connection. Huge learning.
What do you think is the #1 thing that inhibits us from living in the moment, right? Because we all want to. We all strive to be present, like you say. What's the #1 thing?
I think the #1 thing for most people is just maybe a fear, an insecurity of what's going to happen in the moment. So we try to control it, so we're more in control of it. But I had another thing that happened this month. I'm sitting there, I get a text, an email, and I'm like doing my radio and stuff, so I don't always have time to answer them right then. Yeah. But I saw this text that said, Bishop, because I used to be their bishop, a religious leader for them like 12 years ago. And they said, we need you to call us. We're at Riverton Hospital. And we just felt prompted to call you. I'm like, oh boy. No. So I call this couple. They're in the hospital delivering a baby that was almost full term that had died. And to me, I'm thinking, well, how fearful would I be to be sitting there all day waiting to deliver this baby that had passed? And what they were doing is they were turning this moment, instead of this horrendous, horrible experience, into a spiritual moment of love. And they're just like, we're so grateful we get to have a chance to love our baby, to hold our baby, to be with our baby. And we just thought of you and we thought you needed to be here or be a part of it.
So the stop to your busy day was kind of a reality check that there are bigger things going on.
And they didn't need it to be, they didn't need to be afraid about of losing their baby, of having to bury their baby. They didn't go about it from the fear, which would have kept them out of the moment. Instead, they just got into the fact that I've got a day to love this baby. Whether he's alive or not, I'm going to love on this baby, and they loved on the baby.
Both these examples so far were things that people were dreading. People, most of the rest of us would hate this.
Yeah.
And somehow people were able to find really the sweet moment and able to treasure the great moment.
It's always there, and I really truly believe it. It's always there if we can create it. The last example is the fact that I really think you need to get good at what you do well. Get good at the gifts, the things that you do. I get to speak a lot, and a lot of times I get tired of speaking, and I'm like, ugh, I gotta go speak again.
You've got a demanding schedule.
Well, yeah, you know.
I mean, really, no. How many speeches in a month?
Well, including my class, at about 30.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm tired, but here's what happened. On Facebook, a girl contacts me, a woman contacts me, and says, I just want you to know, you were doing a speech, a fireside, and my mom was there and happened to die the next day, unexpectedly. And I want you to know that you made her laugh so hard that she died a happy woman. And she even came up after and met you. And I just want you to know you're making an impact. Now, here's the thing. I immediately thought, oh, I hope I had remembered her. Because what if I met this woman that passed that I influenced and I didn't remember her? So I went back, checked it out, looked her up, looked up her obituary, and you know what? Totally remembered her. But it was like 4 months ago. But right then it taught me, if I have a gift or something I do well, I need to be present in it. Don't be fearful and dread that moment. And then try now, every single time I have a fireside or a speech or anything I do, I'm making sure with every one of them I'm in the moment. When I'm shaking their hands, I'm in the moment, in the moment. And that's simply, and I don't say any of this because I'm great. I say any of this because I've missed a million people that I've met that I wasn't even present with.
So it's a reminder. I mean, sometimes those skills, like you talk about, the talents can become tedious to all of us, whether you're a mother or whether you have an actual job outside of the home.
Or they're scary.
Yeah, being in that moment. That's a good reminder. Thanks.
Thanks
for letting us learn with you.
Well, you know that quote that Matt was referencing earlier. It's some great words to live by, the Dieter Uchtdorf quote that Matt referenced. So what we've done, we've printed this out. You can print it out from your website. It's easily pinnable. You can pin it to your Pinterest boards. You can share it with others. And there it is right there. You can print that out and frame it, put it on your wall, and remember it. Matt, you've already finished up one of your Valentine's date nights. You got a big one coming up, all right?
Huge. This is with Hillary Weeks. She's mega big. And it's on Valentine's Day, Murray High School. It's $50 per couple. I do 1 hour of just content on how to create spark, get the spark back, and then she sings us into heaven. And together it creates a lot of chemistry. It's tons of fun. It's $50. Go to Date Nights with Matt.
Awesome.
Thanks, you guys.
We'll be right back.